Welcome to the Health Buzz Podcast with Dr. Cindy Ross, PhD. Many medical doctors refer their patients to Dr. Cindy for natural medicine therapies focused on balancing nutrition, vitamins, lifestyle changes, and other natural health approaches.
Hey guys, it's Cindy Ross, and
Amanda Sellers.
I don't even have to say guest co-host anymore because you're just here with me now. You're stuck with me.
It's a thing now.
It's a
Or you're
thing.
stuck with me.
Yes, I love it. So I decided not to do, I kind of ran out of time, and it's kind of wrapped all around our topic today, but I was chatting with Amanda today, or actually, was it even today? I guess it was today. I was like, this is what we're going to do it on. And
Yeah. I was going
I'm
to
like,
call you yesterday, but you were on the road doing
this
stuff,
stuff, this
all the
stuff.
stuff we're talking about.
Yeah, so literally, it's Giving Tuesday, and I woke up and I'm like, we have to talk about Giving Tuesday because it is wrapped all around my passion and everything that I'm doing right now. So let's first talk about what is Giving Tuesday. So it actually started in 2012, if you didn't know. And it's really if you have like a nonprofit that is close to your heart or just giving back. It's really just about giving back. It was founded coming off of like Cyber Monday and Black Friday, and it has nothing really to do with like, nothing about buying gifts or anything like that. It's just about giving back to charity or just humanitarian efforts. And so I love it. It's like one of my most favorite days. So I thought that we would wrap this whole podcast around it.
I
Um,
love it.
so Amanda, do you want to talk about what you just gifted?
Yes. Well, so obviously this started with you and your foundation. But so I'm going to start with your gift first. So on my mom's birthday,
Which I didn't
you
even know.
No, but you had already in the works a plan to donate a well in my mom's name, and you sent it to me, and I literally sent you a picture because immediately I'm bawling.
It wasn't
So
pretty.
it was an ugly cry.
It was just not pretty.
It was not pretty. And so then, of course, immediately I wanted to give. Um, And so did two wells. I did one in my mother-in-law and my father-in-law's name, which is already done. And you sent me the pictures
Fun.
and the video, and I'm so thankful. I just sent those to Greg right before so that he could see, and he gave me a clap, and it made him very happy. And then I did one for a very good friend of mine who lost her mom um, 3 weeks ago, and you sent me those pictures, and it's just the feeling that you get in seeing those pictures, and you're seeing exactly where your money goes and the joy on these children's faces. So apparently one well will provide water for up to 500 people in these villages, and both of mine are in Nepal, right?
They are. They are. And I asked for the coordinates. So I sent you the coordinates of them.
Yes,
Amanda and I have this grand plan and we're gonna go visit them for sure.
yes, we are.
So that was actually my I think it was like the 11th clean water well that I've done in Nepal in the past 2 months. Um I don't know, I see it being, somebody bought me a star one time and I just thought how amazing that was. And then with the wells, like I just think it's such a wonderful gift. Like whether you are in memory of someone, you're honoring someone, it's just I think it's a fantastic gift because you're you're doing good so much for that community, but also it's just a humanitarian effort. We all can make a little bit of a difference. And they're not expensive. And that's something I want to talk about today. I think so many times people think that it takes so much money to give back, and it doesn't. Amanda, I mean, like that well, literally it's $130 for one well
Yeah.
And this is a 40-meter well, so the water table is higher, so we don't have to go as low. But it was $130, and we're providing clean water for up to 500 people. In Bangladesh, it's $200. We go 80 meters. And I mean, it's the same thing. It's just we're making such strides over there. And in Bangladesh, I've put in quite a few wells over the past 6 months in the Rohingya refugee camp over there. So for Abdul, and he's such a big part of my projects.
And so how, what is the birth of this idea? Like, how did this idea come about? Because it's such, for me, I love that it's a small amount of money that has such a great impact, and it's such a brilliant idea. So, did you visit these places and meet these people,
Yeah,
or how
so
did?
it started last year. I was in the Masai Mara drilling, and we had just done a fundraising project, and I knew that I wanted to do clean water, and it was such a big part of our trip when we went to Kenya. Kenya's water table, it's really hard to find for one. I'll just say Africa in general. It's really hard to find, and it's much deeper, and it takes drill bits to drill through the rock, right? So it's much harder and much more complicated, and you got to hire big teams in, and so it was like thousands of dollars. And I was really deflated coming out of Africa because the project failed. And I had spent my own money funding this because I was about to get a huge grant from Rotary for this. And our plan was to do 100 wells in a year. And it failed. The team that I had out of the US, it just things didn't work out. And I was really deflated. But then I learned the process of how simple that it can be, and I took that into other countries. And not that I won't go back to Africa, because I definitely will. I mean, there's always room for improvement in Africa. But, I always say this in Africa, you get a lot of tourist money. So they are able to get a lot of tourists come through the villages. They make gifts, people buy them, trinkets, everything else. Bangladesh and Nepal, two countries they don't get many tourists. Bangladesh, especially, they just don't get tourists, especially in the refugee camp. So they are completely depending on organizations like myself going in and doing projects. The water table being so high there, we can do it for a much cheaper cost per project. And literally, it was something that started. We started with clothing. We did a couple food programs, and then thankfully, Abdul, that I connected with there in the Rohingya camp, went through a training back in 2017 to where he can identify the water tables, and we
Interesting.
just started working together, and it led from one. And what's so cool, and I'm going to give him a big shout out here, is we worked within the Rohingya camp, but then he's like, Cindy, we have to do work outside. Bangladesh is the most poorest country in the world, and
Mhm.
there is millions of people in this country, and then they have the Rohingyas that fled from Myanmar, and we talked a little bit about this with Sonia, if you remember, and
Mhm.
they fled. So they have this refugee camp in Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh. So the living conditions are like 50 times worse than in Bangladesh, which is just it's beyond my perception of what I can even imagine. And so I'm so fortunate to find Abdul, so trustworthy, lives up to everything that he tells me, and he's just been a blessing. And we work, and I started doing some work in Nepal since then because I'd been contacted by another humanitarian worker. And in the meantime, Abdul sends me pictures of a well, and I'm like, where did this come from? Because I haven't sent any money lately. And he took a job, and him and his family live on a dirt floor, and they sleep on a dirt floor at night. And he didn't take the money for his family. He took the money and he put a clean water well in. And so it again, a very little amount of money goes a really long way there. And so you can do a lot of good for hundreds and hundreds of people. So if you have someone that you want to honor in memory of, and I just did the same thing. So I gifted it to you for your mom.
Mhm.
Also, another one, and I didn't tell you this, but my uncle that is true and dear to my heart. He's been my mentor throughout my entire entrepreneurship in my life, my career. He's been there every step of the way. He lost a daughter to an overdose, and him and
Mhm.
I have chatted many times over this because he's had a lot of guilt and sorrow, and he always says to me, I don't understand, Cindy. You're always doing work overseas. How come you're not doing it in the States, like in your backyard? Because there's people in need, right? But my philosophy is this. I do a lot of work in my own backyard. People that know me in the Orange Beach area, Baldwin County, Mobile, I do a lot of work here in the States. But I do a lot of work overseas because I feel if we're born in the US, we're already one step ahead. We have opportunity. And if there's a will, there's a way in the US. But these guys, man, they don't have running water, they don't have electricity, they don't have any of the things that we have here in the United States. And so um I wanted to show him I did want an honor of his daughter. And I met her one time in my life. They live in New Orleans, and her name is Charisse. And I'm, super close with her brother John and her son Renee. I'm super close with them, but I only had the opportunity that I remember as a grown up meeting her one time before she passed. And so I just thought it was a really cool way to honor her and show my uncle that what good we can do overseas. I mean, like, because
Mhm.
there I don't know anywhere that I could put a clean water well in the US for $130. I'm not really sure
Yeah.
that it would impact hundreds of people. So I don't know. I just want to be able to, everybody deserves clean water. And I think we take it so for granted that, when a hurricane hits, that's when we're like, oh my gosh, we can't turn on the faucet. We don't have any water. And we're all flipping out, and everybody goes into hysteric mode, especially I know where we live. And I'm sure it's the same way for you because you're in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and that's what I try to tell people, like if they're thinking, if they're on the fence about donating, that's what I wanted to do when I started traveling was I want to make sure I know where my money goes, right? Like it's easy to donate to the Salvation Army or it's easy to donate to these huge organizations that are already in these countries, but do you really know where your money goes? I never felt secure with it, but I know Jason always questioned it. So when we started traveling to these third world countries, that was really important for me to make those connections to know where the money was going. And if I put my name on someone and someone's donating like yourself and you're giving me money, I want you to know where it's going. So they're wonderful. They give me coordinates, they send me pictures and videos, and the kids are saying thank you. And it's just beautiful and it makes sure exactly that's exactly it. And I have to send you the actual coordinates, but that is
You
your,
did.
yeah. Did I send you the
I,
coordinates? You got them?
wait, yeah, I think you did. I just actually, because a lot of people don't know where this is on the map.
Yeah.
I didn't. And
Yeah.
so to be able to hit it, because you dropped a pen basically, and I touched the pen, opened it up, and there it is. And it's really wild. It's very, very remote. And just the fact that you're able to make an impact so far away and such a like long lost land and to think about these children. So if you do this, Cindy's going to send you a video and you get to see the children washing their face with this clean water from this well that's outside and they're standing barefoot in the mud and they're just so happy to have this pouring clean water and
It's
it's very
emotional,
moving.
right?
It
Yeah,
is.
it's super
It is.
emotional.
Yeah.
So this is something that I'm working on right now. And let me see if it came through. Let's see. Okay. So if it will come through. So I got to tell you about this one. All right. So this is one that I'm working on right now. So if you can actually see it. All right. So it's City of Orange Beach.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So City of
Hmm.
Orange Beach. So we are putting in a little bit larger well. And I am thanking the city of Orange Beach. So let me tell you, so Orange Beach is where I live. It's right here on the Florida Alabama line, and the city has supported my nonprofit efforts from the very beginning, like from the time that I first stepped foot in Kenya and I had this vision, and they were there along the entire way and supported my fundraising effort and just always just let me get up and talk about it during city council. And they have just really been there. Well, so they opened up some doors for me a couple years ago. So I started, one of the big parts of my nonprofit is I ship medical supplies out every month, right? So I probably ship out, I used to ship out about I don't know, 1,000 to 2,000 pounds of medical supplies a month. And I partnered up with another nonprofit called Not Just Tourist. So the key is to find a traveler, and I put a suitcase in their hand. I ship it to them, or they come by and pick it up. Mostly I ship. And I put the customs paperwork in there. And so it's easy for them just to take it through. And it's full of medical supplies. And either I find them a clinic or they have a clinic in mind. And a lot of times we just surprise them with medical supplies. And these medical supplies, the box might be damaged, or they might be expired, or they might just be donated, but they're in great condition. Everyone can use it. And so,
Yeah, because like the organizations like hospice, if they bring in supplies to homes and those supplies aren't used, they can't reuse them.
that's
But they're,
exactly right.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's exactly right. So, for the first couple years that I was doing it, I pretty much the same space. I had a lot of suitcases, and I would just pack them out in like my carport, and I would ship them out. Well, in the beginning of the year, I was notified. This lady calls me. I'm literally about to walk into city council, and she calls me and she goes, "Are you Cindy Ross?" And she was like, I found you on the internet, and we have all of these supplies, and I have like a tractor trailer load of medical supplies, and I'm south of Panama City, and how do I get them to you?" And I was like, I don't know what to do with that many. I didn't say, I just said, "Oh, I'll make it happen." And
figure it out.
no, and I used to hear this all the time, and it's truly, I believe it now. Like, you're gifted this blessing, because I truly feel I'm a vessel, and I'm being used, right? Like, to do good in this world. And then God opens doors for you, right? So I didn't have a plan. I just knew that I had this tractor trailer load of supplies, and um you know, the city was just like, "Here, we'll have the space. It'll be fine, and we'll make it happen for you." And so, literally over the past year, it has opened up so many doors, and I went from just shipping like, you know, maybe 5 to 6 suitcases a month to thousands of pounds of supplies are going out now. So I get a call again, and you don't know any of this, Amanda. So I get a call again this past week, and so I have to go rent a U-Haul, and I'm like running to Magnolia Springs, which is like an hour away, and then I go down to south of Panama City yesterday, and I pick up pallets of supplies, and these supplies are being donated from hospitals in Minnesota and in Arizona, and they're going to hospitals in Honduras that is being, so it's like the whole world's opened up. So then the guy that I'm going to give him a big shout out, Nazmi, him and I go way back, and he's the one that helped me to really get started with this, because he started a medical supply company around the same time of COVID in Mobile. And I remember calling him, and I'm like, "Nas, I have 2 suitcases. I'm going to Dominican." This was during COVID, like travel really wasn't a thing. And I'm like, I want to take 2 suitcases to a clinic. And he's like, "Yep, come to Mobile." So we drive to Mobile like the day before our flights. He packs me up like 2 huge suitcases of supplies, and that's how it started. Well, I haven't talked to him all year because I had this whole tractor trailer load of supplies that I've just been going through. And I call him, and I'm like, "Hey," I said, "I haven't talked to you in a while. This is what's going on. And I have all these storage spaces now, and I have like everything's just running really smooth." And Thursday, I'm picking up like 14 pallets of medical supplies, and I've rented a U-Haul again. And now at pretty much any given time, I can call and have pallets of expired supplies because these countries can use expired supplies, and it's just beautiful. And I'm so thankful to have found not just tourists because it's really helped me. And then I fund everything through my nonprofit. I ship all the supplies. And then with one of the founders today, I had a meeting and I'm going to be pretty much brokering, connecting the pretty much the lender of or the donor of the supplies to containers that go on cargo ships. So
Oh,
not only so it's going to be like I find a cargo container that it's pretty much like finding a traveler with a suitcase, but on a much
right,
larger scale. So we
right.
impact at a much larger scale. And like really supply hospitals. Like yesterday, I sent out two suitcases to a little island that was heavily impacted by Hurricane Beryl, and the hospital was in need of supplies. So that's what I hope to do is, really fund medical missions with these supplies and restock hospitals that are impacted by disasters such as hurricanes. And so I will still be sending out suitcases on a smaller scale, making
Mhm.
everybody humanitarians, right? But it's a game changer. It really is a game changer because I will be able to get supplies at any given time because they're always expiring and they're in phenomenal shape, and I can send them to all these developing countries that are in need. So I am super excited. So if anyone's listening that has containers that you have a little bit of space, I definitely have skids that I can fill full of medical supplies.
Yeah,
So
and share this podcast
please,
with your friends and tag anybody that you think might be able to help. What I love about our weekly talks, Cindy, is that you inspire me and you get my creative juices flowing. And I want to talk to you about something else that we kind of touched on privately, but something that I'm thinking about that is um, interesting and exciting for me. And I tell you what, I don't think along these lines all the time, but when I'm with you and I hear you talk about how you've become this vessel and that it's a God thing. I mean, it doesn't just happen. It's not an accident, you know? Um, so I'm so excited for you. And I love how this story is kind of unfolding and things are getting bigger and grander. And, next thing you know, you're going to have somebody offering their plane and they're going to be flying stuff over there for you. And
I love it.
I love it.
So
It's pretty amazing.
you want to hear my thought that I
Yes.
told you about the other night? So I was thinking because Amanda has this beautiful 8-year-old that you might have met the other day on our podcast, Kennedy. And I'm
Mhm.
always thinking, like, if I had a daughter, what would I want her involved in? And how cool would it be to have her involved in a nonprofit to show her, right? Like
Mhm.
humanitarian
Mhm.
efforts at such a young age. So I was thinking that I
If
should.
you say what I'm thinking, I'm gonna like fall off my chair.
So I was thinking, because I got all these supplies, and I was thinking I ship them to you, and
Mhm.
you guys start collecting suitcases locally, and you start a little chapter down there for you and Kennedy, and I help you grow it. And I think it would be
Amazing.
fantastic. And if there's anyone out there that wants to start that in your area too, because I have travelers that contact me from all over the country because there's not enough chapters of us sending out supplies. And it really is easy. I remember the very first time 2020 is when I started this, and I popped on my Facebook, hey, I'm looking for suitcases. Well, Jesus, I had so many suitcases show up at my
Yep.
house. My husband was just like, oh my goodness, what are you doing with this? Um,
What are we gonna
so,
do with all these
yeah,
suitcases?
so I literally had them just stuffed in my gym at the house, and And then it's like I talked to Avi today with Not Just Tourists, and he's like, Cindy, it will just happen. You'll see it'll unfold just like it is now. And he's like, you're at another level. And it does, it just happens. Like it opens
Mhm.
up doors. But I don't know, if I had a little girl, I just would love to have her help me. And kids always want to be involved anyway. And it's so fun just to be able to have like Chance, my brother joined me yesterday, and I was like, I pick him up in the U-Haul and I'm going down the road and it's like so bouncy and we're just driving down the road. And he was like, you're driving. I'm like, I'm driving this big U-Haul. And I drove like 8 hours yesterday, but we drove up to Chipley and I delivered suitcases there, and then we go and pick up supplies, and then we have lunch with these people that go to Honduras. And it was just awesome to be with such like-minded individuals and talking about our ministries and our missions. And then we stopped by Quan Am, the monastery, where I'm going to give Master Tran a big shout out because she gifted me these beautiful meditation beads. Um, she got them on her pilgrimage through India last month, and they're beautiful. So like when you're meditating, you go through each one, and there's 108 beads, and it's 108 afflictions. And she believes in me so much in all of my efforts and all my humanitarian work and all my cancer work. And she was like, you need these, and I will cherish these forever. So thank you, Master Tran. I love them. But yeah, it
Super
was
special.
cool. It was really cool to have my brother see a piece of my world because I don't get to share it. And if I had a daughter, I would just love to be able to show them like we can all do so much good in the world, you know?
Right. Well, and that's kind of, one of the things that's difficult in the States. And I recently went to a women's luncheon, and there was a message there, and it's very interesting how everything syncs up in your life. But what we were discussing at our individual table is how I want Kennedy to be involved in this action of giving back, right? But it's hard because, we donate money, or maybe we serve food at a soup kitchen. We buy for children for the angel tree, but there's like from beginning to end, it's hard to expose your child to that. Like, how does it start and then where does it end? And so I was trying to get some advice from these other mommies on, how do we do that? Because I don't know that I can take my child to the homeless shelter next to the jail. It may not be the safest place to take her. I can do that and I've done that, but I want her to be able to play with the children on the other end that she's giving to without the children obviously knowing that it's coming from her. So it's tricky, but I love the idea of bringing her on and packing the supplies, and then, maybe one day
I
taking her there to see where
I
they
would
go.
love to have her on my team. I would love to have her on. And something
Yeah.
that's really cool. And I made my good friend Janet come on board with me whenever we did it. It was 2 years ago, and I rang the bell for the Salvation Army a couple. So I go to the Salvation Army, and I usually feed them for Thanksgiving, and I'll go to Mobile and I'll do the whole soup kitchen thing and give out the meals. But one of my most favorite things, and you should do this with Kennedy, like we dressed up in like our cute little Christmas outfits and we go out there and we ring the bell, and you like do like you can do 4 hours or 6 hours or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But we did
The
like,
triangle.
oh, it was so much fun. We rang the bell and we got
Yeah.
so much money, and it was just really fun. And that would be something cool to do with Kennedy
Yeah.
for the holidays. It definitely gets you in the Christmas spirit. We stood outside of Walmart and did it. I had a blast. My husband's like, I'm not going to a soup kitchen, and I have to drag him to all my stuff. He gets so tired. But I gotta tell you, he's been such a great sport because the U-Haul, I packed it up, and my brother helped me with it yesterday, and I got back last night. We offloaded all the boxes this morning, and then we rented two huge cargo trailers that we're picking up tomorrow evening to go to Mobile, and he's going with me over there, and we're dragging all the medical supplies back. So, I mean, like literally, I think he's got like, I don't know, maybe up to like 20 pallets or something. But yeah, it's
Well,
incredible.
you've got Mobile Bay right there, right? So it's a port.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. I'm gonna connect with I have a good friend that used to own a stevedorian company.
Hmm.
And so I was thinking about them today after I got off the phone with one of the founders for Not Just Tourist, and he was kind of giving me the parameters of how it works with the containers because I've never done it before. And I'm sure once I do it, it gets easier, but it's new for me. And I was gonna contact one of the companies and just see, hey, like where are these containers going? Can we connect with I'll connect with a hospital. I want to send hospital beds or I want to send whatever we have.
Right.
It's but there's just so much. I mean, it's I think the possibilities are just endless of what we can do. So, and I would
Well,
love
it
to
goes
have you and
back.
Cindy on board.
I would love that. And yes, yes, and yes. And I also love how this feeds into the idea of having an end of life plan for things, not just people. So all of these things that could otherwise be thrown away now have a specific plan um, to go where they can be needed and used. And I just love that idea. Have you watched that documentary yet? If not, you need to watch it so we can talk about it.
Which one, what is it called?
Oh gosh, you're gonna ask me. It's on Netflix and it's about waste and
I haven't
all
seen
of
it.
the waste. So, you've seen, I'm sure you've seen the visuals of all of the things that we use and we throw away and they're recycled, right? But really they end up in third world countries just in piles and piles. So, yeah, this is a way to contribute to trying to fix that plan, which is going to take years. But if we want to see our world
Right.
not
You're right.
covered in our waste, um, we need to start doing something about it.
Well, and that's the thing with these supplies, Amanda, is that, like Nazmi was telling me yesterday that they didn't have anyone to give they didn't know anybody to give expired supplies to, right? And so,
Right,
and it was the same with the other donations as well. And they didn't realize that the other countries could use them. And I
right.
know what's crazy to me is why is there an expiration on needles? Why is there an expiration on mask? Why are there expiration on, I mean, like they're great.
I'll tell you why.
I know
Let me tell
why.
you why.
Tell me.
So that you have to buy more,
Exactly.
right? So that you have to spend more money.
Exactly. So, he was telling me when he bought this company, they pretty much had to have a container brought in and dump. And he goes, I don't even want to talk about it because it's in the past, but it was so painful. And he didn't realize that I could work with them. And so, anyone out there listening, like I get contacted by funeral homes, people that pass, if you have hospice supplies that are left over, anything and everything. If you're a hospital and you have things that you want to donate, if you are redoing a wing, anything, like we can take anything. So,
Except drugs, pharmaceuticals. Can't
yeah,
take those.
except pharmaceuticals. Now they did just donate it was some like lidocaine and stuff like that was in the bundle. But that I can do Target donates like some supplements that expire and things like that. So we'll throw those in if we get them. But, we do keep a standard of like, it's not just a dump. So like if someone's like wanting just to close down a wing of a hospital and just give us everything, we do have to keep a standard because I don't ever want to be known as just sending a bunch of just stuff that cannot be used. So
Right.
it has to be good quality. But if you know someone or know a hospital that has expired drugs that or not drugs, medical supplies, please send them my
No
way.
narcotics, please.
Yeah, yeah, please send them my way. I can use it. I'll put them to good use and definitely if I cannot take them personally, I will put them in touch with a container. Apparently, I'm going to be a broker.
Yeah, well, we have a huge port here too. So, there's a lot of opportunity. And I mean, the wonderful thing here is you have an answer to the question, why aren't you doing something here? Well, we can't use this stuff in the
That's
United
exactly right.
States.
Yeah, that's
So
exactly right.
let's put it to good use. Love it.
That's exactly right. So it's Giving Tuesday. So if you're feeling in the giving mood, I did make a post today and I'll put my Venmo link for my nonprofit. It is called CHAD, Changing Hearts Against Diversity. I'll put it in the show notes. And Amanda, get me that Netflix documentary as well. Send me that link.
Well,
I'll put it in the show notes. And, you know, we can all do better. We can absolutely all do better. You know, this year I started composting and I even try to like make sure that I go to thrift store. I love going thrift store shopping anyway, but even just like buying recycled clothes and not going out and buying brand new clothes because there's just so much that we can recycle and reuse and save our planet. And I'm all about that. You know, I don't know, maybe it's an age thing and it just really started hitting me that like if we do not start making a change, we're not gonna have a place. It's our if you're not taking care of your home is a body and earth. That's it. You got to take care of it, or it's not gonna exist.
right.
So, all right, I'm gonna put you and Kennedy to work.
All right, let's do it.
All
We're
right.
ready.
Reach out if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help. And again, if you want to honor someone, if you want to in memory of someone that you lost, you know, let's do a clean water well together. I'm happy to facilitate it and you know, give clean water to everyone. That's my goal.
It's an eternal memory. Really, it is. It's a treasure.
One of my favorite quotes is be the change you wish to see in the world, right? Like that
Yep.
it starts with you and that's what I try to do every day.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for jumping on. I know we're a little late tonight, but I appreciate you jumping on so late.
And well, you know, it's past my bedtime, my goal bedtime, but you know how that goes.
That's right.
Usually midnight before I'm asleep.
I know. All right. I love you,
Thanks
babe.
for having me.
Always. All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.
See ya.